Hello and welcome to Thoughts from the Green Room with your host, Jeff Mays. This week's topic is on contracts. What I'd like to do this week is share with you a little bit of one of my friend's stories is what I want to share with you this week. One of my friends who remains anonymous for the purpose of this is going through some really tough struggles emotionally with their partner. They've been back and forth fighting and and arguing and that scene, that drama. Now, they've been together for a while, and it's always been the underlying current of bickering between the two of them, and they've been together long enough now that the bickering is the dominant quality, and they are constantly at each other. They claim they're in love, and they claim that they're right for each other, but they're always arguing. It has been my opinion, as well as many of my friends' opinions for many years, that they don't communicate well, and neither one of them is having or getting what they want satisfied in this interaction with the other person. It is up to them to figure things out beyond anything I've just said, and those are my personal opinions. They are voiced with them, and many others have shared similar with them. But what that brings me around to is the professional world and contracts. I have to pause for a moment, and I do wish my friends well, and I do hope they sort them out. I know them both. Let's have another beer, guys. Maybe we'll figure it out one day. Whatever works for you. Bringing it back to you, my viewer, I want to talk about the contract, because that bickering that goes back and forth, that anxiety that happens between my two friends, is coming off of a contract that was poorly negotiated, in my opinion. In a personal world, we call it relationship. In a professional world, it's called the contract. So when you're out there, and I'm saying this, I think, for everybody, but I want to put a focus on anybody who's new, in the business or out of the business. When you're setting down and you're new for the first time and you're setting down your contracts and you want to make sure you get paid properly and you want to make sure you get certain things for the work you put on the table, make sure that you discuss what you need. When you're new in the business or you're new anywhere, you will not get everything that you want. This is a given because you do not have negotiating power yet. But it does not mean that you have to kowtow to everything. Alright? You have the right for some basics. For those of you in the industry, especially actors, yeah, if you want to see a copy of the final product, that's something you should be allowed to see. It's your work. You should also have the right, unless it's being exclusively used somewhere else, you should have the right to put it up on your web page, your reel. And maybe it's being used exclusively somewhere else and a date needs to be negotiated as to when you could use it as your material once exclusivity is removed, but you have the right to ask for that. And that last point was about compromise. Contracts work on a lot of compromise and yesing and knowing with each other. So yes, exclusivity as an example. The promoter says no, it is an exclusive showing at blah blah blah, and therefore you can't use it in your reels. Great. When does the exclusivity contract finish so that I can use it? And you should be able to negotiate a time frame. This is compromise. Their compromise and your compromise. Because you want to put it on your page right away. You want the world to see your work. Sometimes it doesn't always happen that way. My overall point with what I've just talked about is the idea that a contract is a relationship. And in a relationship, everybody's needs require and should be met. In a professional context, the less experience you have, the less your needs have weight, and you have to know when to back down. And that's one of the reasons why we have agents to help us out with those kinds of things. So kudos to all the agents out there who fight for us. In terms of the real world, that contract, that relationship should never have a compromise on something you truly believe in. You should find the people who want to support your beliefs. Those are my thoughts from the green room right now, and they're my opinions. Very controversial for many people who have very different opinions about relationships. I think as far as business goes, everybody would agree. To this idea, I leave you with a week's challenge. Next time you sit down on a business level and you negotiate something, see if your needs are getting met. If they're not, find a way to compromise so you can get something. And know when it's your place to step back and when to fight. I want to take the challenge further and push it out there to something that's important to me, and that's relationship. And when you're sitting down with your partner this week, find out if your needs are getting met. And maybe have an honest-to-honest, heart-to-heart talk to ensure that you and your partner are that much happier because you had a chat about some of your needs. Those are your thoughts from the green room with your host, Jeff Mays. I'll see you next week.